sure if we're live. There we go. Finally showed up on the screen there. Well, hello, everybody. Happy last Friday of the month of April. I cannot believe that tomorrow we're starting the 5th month of 2021. It's just like I say it all the time. You went to bed in March 15th of 2020 and we're waking up, a year later in 2021. It's so incredibly insane and funny and crazy and wild and weird how this year has been. And we are very excited to continue doing the work that we do here with the Hispano Chamber of Commerce. My name is Shannon and welcome to our Friday webinar. We hope you guys have your favorite sandwich, your favorite beverage in front of you for the next hour. We are getting to know more of these fantastic departments inside of the city of Albuquerque. So before we get started and introduce our fantastic panel with us today, I want to say a huge shout out and thank you to the city of Albuquerque for their continued partnership in so many initiatives we have here at the Hispano Chamber, including this little webinar series, which is about a 6-week or so series where we get to meet the key stakeholders with the city departments, whether they be directors or managers, and also what are the missions, what do we need to know, what do you as the public need to know about how to engage with those departments, and if you're a small business owner, what is important for you to know about how you can also engage and ask the questions you need to for your small business. So we have a whole new group today. I want to give a big shout out to Stacy Dragmeister, who has been instrumental in helping us pull this together, and of course our marketing team, Miss Angelique and Jamie, for making this happen. So thank you both. Today, we have a couple of departments with us, several, and we're excited to get to know them. So let's start by introducing the panel. Just going to go in the order that you are on my screen, which means, Josh, you are first. Tell us who you are, what your title is, and what department you're representing today.
Hi, my name is Josh Herbert. I'm the Aquatics Division Manager, so I'm responsible for all the pools, and I'm within the Parks and Recreation Department, so that's who I'm representing today.
Wonderful. We have 1,000 questions about Parks and Rec, so be ready. Next, we have Stephanie.
Hello, everyone. My name is Stephanie Dominguez. I'm a Deputy Director with the Transit Department. So you may know us as ABQ Ride for our fixed route services and Sunvan for our paratransit services.
Perfect. And we have Kristen.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kristen Travis Smith. I am a Community Services Division Manager with the Department of Family and Community Services. I oversee all of the community centers, educational programs, therapeutic recreation, out of school time, all of that good stuff.
Wow. Lots to learn about family and community in our community. So excited about that. And then we also have with us Diana, and I'm gonna, if I chop it, forgive me on this, but it looks like, is it Huitzel?
Yes, it's Huitzil. Hi, everybody. My name is Diana Delgado, and I'm the Community Outreach Coordinator for the City of Albuquerque's Department of Arts and Culture. And I'm here today with Huitzil, who I've been mentoring for the past 3 years, and she helped me put together all of the research for today's presentation. So really here to help support her.
Well, that is so awesome because we are all about mentorship, whether it's small business owners or individuals in the community. So it's always fun to highlight that. So thank you both for being here, everybody for being here. So we all know that this last year has been challenging. We know that there's so much happening in our community. So we thought that a series like this would be really, really important to be able to really share with the community what's been happening around our city. So I want to kind of start with what I think is really exciting. It's a beautiful spring season for us here in Albuquerque in our beautiful Duke City. And Josh is really going to walk us through Parks and Rec because that's something that we all get to enjoy in the summer as a community. And so, Josh, if you could start by just sharing with us, what is the mission of your department? Tell us a little bit about the department, any key, people that we should know about, and just get us acquainted with your department.
Sure. Yeah, I'd be happy to. So the mission statement for Parks and Recreation, our job is to protect, plan, enhance, and maintain a parks, major public open space, and trail system that gives Albuquerque a sense of place. And then we also promote economic development and tourism by continuing to provide quality, affordable facilities and programs such as golf, recreation, swimming pools, parks, open space, balloon fiesta park, shooting range, the list goes on and on, sporting events. So we assure quality education programs for youth to encourage positive behavior towards a conservation ethic. And we try to combat the nature deficit disorder. So we also provide quality recreation programs to encourage health activities and healthy lifestyle for all ages, and then encourage and develop healthy and safe work environment, ethical management practices, and a spirit of teamwork for all Parks and Recreation employees. So I have the division manager, or the director of Parks and Recreation, really fun guy, really thinks out of the box. His name is Dave Simon. He oversees several divisions that include golf, recreation, open space, park management, aquatics, strategic design, forestry, which is also a part of park management. And then there's also administrative support that includes finance and human resources. The department has 260 full-time employees, 355 seasonal and student employees, and we have up to 450 seasonal student employees during the summer months. That's when we really ramp up our staff. All the pools are open, all the parks are open. We've got tennis, we've got pickleball, we have outdoor explorer camps, we have a lot of different programs to manage. So we need all those people. So we can get up to about 750 employees for Parks and Recreation, and that's a huge family. So we're really team oriented, really family oriented, and we try to collaborate amongst all of our divisions to really try to provide key programming for the city of Albuquerque. And I kind of already talked about some of our facilities that we have, but kind of go into a little bit further. We have 5 golf courses, 15 swimming pools, 3 splash pads, the Balloon Fiesta Park, that's pretty big, 146 tennis courts, 24 pickleball courts. We have a community bike shop on the west side. We have a bicycle safety program. We do pop-up bike clinics throughout all of Albuquerque. We have 300 parks to include 1,300 turf acres, more than 150 miles of trails, and over 30,000 acres of public open space and open space visitor center. We have BMX track, world-class indoor track, several skate parks. There's 8, 2 horseshoe pit facilities, a public shooting range. We host hundreds of programs throughout the year for people of all walks of life, and dog parks. We also have dog parks. We have 15 of those. So we try to maintain all of our park systems and all of our programs to the best of our ability, so that we can help out the community, kind of improve their quality of life. And I can go on and on. I was disappointed that it's only an hour, because I could probably talk about Parks and Recreation all day.
Well, Josh, we probably need to have a completely separate talk, a separate webinar on Parks and Rec. I literally already have a full page of notes. I was trying to keep up, because I like to go back and figure out, like, what do we want to learn more about? What affects small business and the community? And oh my gosh. And here's the beauty of what we have been talking about when we're talking about getting to know the city departments. We may know that you're Parks and Rec. We don't know what you do inside of Parks and Rec. We think, oh yeah, they maintain the parks. They maintain the public parks. To know that you guys are maintaining swimming pools and recreational open spaces, forestry, I gotta ask you about forestry, BMX tracks and pickleball courts and dog parks. I mean, like, my mind is going crazy, because it's basically everything inside our city. And this is what really allows the community to engage with each other and others. It's huge. So I'm going to take just a quick second to wrap my brain around it. We're going to come back to you to kind of break some of this down a little bit, because it's absolutely amazing. And wow, what a huge team you have to pull this together. So kudos to you and the team and the director that pulled this together. It's amazing. So Stephanie, you also have a big, job inside of the city. So please share with us, what is the mission? What is the end goal for your department? And what should we know as the public looking into ABQ Ride?
Absolutely. So, so like I mentioned earlier, you're probably familiar with our department because we provide public transportation. So that comes in the form of the buses that you see, and also our paratransit service, which is our Sun Vans. Our goal is to be the first choice in transportation services for the Albuquerque metro area. Our strategy is to provide effective, affordable, and diverse intermodal transportation alternatives to the single occupant vehicle. So really focusing on the environmental aspect and trying to get you and the public where they need to go. Just a quick overview of our department. It takes a whole team to make it work. So it's not just the buses and the Sun Vans that you see on the road and the drivers. We have HR, marketing, planning, operations, maintenance, IT, and finance. Those are the different divisions within our department. Our director is Danny Holcomb. He has a fantastic story. He actually started with the city 20 plus years ago as a driver and moved his way up. Now our director. So he's been a great leader. We've had a lot of changes and a lot of challenges with COVID. So we're very grateful for leadership. Just some statistics that are really interesting about our department. We have about a $53.8 million budget. We have a staff of 571 people. We maintain 2,700 bus stops across the city. We have 162 buses that are out operationally on the road and 84 Sun Vans.
It's crazy. There we go again. The number of employees in your department. And I didn't even think about the vans versus the buses. Like that's incredible. But I have to say, what a great story about your director, Mr. Holcomb, because that's a testament of starting, hey, I don't know what I want to do with my life. I'm going to join the city. I'm going to do this. And lo and behold, a couple of decades later, running the whole department. And an example is somebody that really knows every job within the department and understands the department. And, that's how you become an effective leader. So that's fantastic. I love that story. But again, lots to break down to get more specific. Definitely want to bring Kristen into this conversation because I know you're about to blow our minds as well. So share with us all about the community, family and community department and what you do, the mission and all the fun stuff.
Yeah. So thanks for having me. So the Department of Family and Community Services is actually the biggest department in the city of Albuquerque aside from APD. So today I'm going to really focus my conversation today on what I do because I have a really huge division and we're serving a lot of kids and families right now and have been throughout COVID. I think that some of my colleagues are going to come on and talk about the other aspects of the department because we serve everything from homelessness, affordable housing, behavioral health, early childhood. So it's just like a huge department that has a huge reach in our city. But I oversee community recreation and educational initiatives. So that division is basically 22 community centers. We have programs at 24 Albuquerque public schools, elementary schools, either before and after or summer camps as well. In the summer, we have up to 125 meal sites that we serve summer lunch in. I also oversee the Job Mentor Program, which is an internship program within the city of Albuquerque. It's a partnership with APS and the city of Albuquerque, where we basically pay APS high school teachers to teach this class during the school year, job skills, life skills, all of that good stuff. And then in the summer, those kids can apply to a summer internship with the city of Albuquerque. And we bring on about 125 summer interns and place them all throughout the city. And currently we're at every traditional APS high school, which is really awesome and exciting. So in my division alone, I oversee about 40 full-time staff. But the cool number is that at any given time, well, mostly in the summer, like Josh, we have up to 800 part-time staff working in our division. So mostly as recreation leaders, facilitating those fun summer camps, before and after school programs to kids. Another really cool thing that we do is therapeutic recreation, which is recreation for kids and adults with and without disabilities. So that's based out of Loma Linda Community Center, but we really create an inclusive environment, and that streams out into all of our programs. So our mission is right in the name of the division, which is to provide recreational and educational activities in an inclusive and safe environment. And that's basically what we do.
Again, wow, 800 part-time, that's incredible. And then when you were talking about recreation leaders, I mean, I'm just thinking about what that does for the community, how that really helps parents during the summer, all the summer camps that, you know, it's like, where do I put my children during the summer? So we have so much to talk about. Again, it's incredible the amount of work that these departments do. And that's why I just have really come to love this series, to really get to know what everybody does and how you as the community that's out there, whether you're a small business owner or whether you are a citizen of the community, how you can get involved. Because some of you may not know they have recreational camps or therapeutic recreational spaces. I mean, these are great little tidbits for everybody. And so I definitely want to break that down a little more, but I want to include the ladies from Cultural Services. So I definitely would love to hear the same thing from you guys. I know that you might have some very specific information to share with us, so please take it away.
Awesome. Yes, thank you so much for having us all here, including us. And I'm glad you said Cultural Services, because we actually, our name, we have a new name now that actually way more aligns with the work we do. So we are the Department of Arts and Culture, but I'm glad you called us Cultural Services, because I used to have this little like joke that I'd open with what the heck is a cultural service? Because unlike a Parks and Recreation department or transit department or family and community services, it's really confusing. So I'm very glad and thankful for our name change to help clarify. Hopefully that can help answer some questions. And in short, our department is a collection of collections. So within the Department of Arts and Culture, we have 18 libraries, soon to be 19 public libraries. We have 2 museums, the Anderson Abruzzo International Balloon Museum, so right next to Parks and Rec over there, as well as the Albuquerque Museum of Art and History. We also, we're actually coming at you live from the beautiful Botanic Gardens, because we are the biopark. So that's the Botanic Gardens, the zoo, the aquarium, Tingley Beach, and we also have an aquatics conservation center. It's not public, but it does help preserve our silvery minnow population, which is a very important fish for us here. And of course, another beautiful close collaboration with Parks and Rec with Tingley Beach and then the Bosque Trails. So I just love the collaboration that all of our departments have within each other. We are the community events division, which hopefully soon we'll be able to have those again, you know, where our state's doing really great in terms of like being safe and following COVID guidelines. And we're also a government and public TV access channel as well. And there's going to be a new studio happening in downtown where people will be able to utilize some of that equipment. So as I said, a collection of collections. Oh, and of course, I can't forget our beautiful public art. So if you've ever seen any of the sculptures around town, and most of the murals have usually had some help, and if not, are fully public art pieces. I've also been told we're the 4th largest department in the city, but I do think we probably have like the most obscure jobs. And that leads me to my next point, that within our department, just like as Kristen has mentioned, and also Josh with their employment and working with young people, mentorship opportunities within our department is something that is the main focus of my job, and also very important for our department's director, Dr. Shel Sanchez, because did you know that you could have a career being a curator of bugs, or a curator of primates or birds or mammals or education? And of course there's art curators. Of course we've all heard of those, but within our department, there's just so many unique, amazing jobs. Like we have to have people that can scuba dive with sharks, right? And clean shark tanks and take care of shark teeth. And then also people that can make sure the penguins' habitats stay just the right temperature so that they can be happy little birds. So our department's pretty neat in that way as well.
So we were on a previous webinar with purchasing, and we asked them, what is some of the craziest purchases, I guess you will, that the city has ever really, or in your time that the city has been through? And she told us all about the procurement of the process and all the equipment that it took for the penguin habitat and getting them transported, helicoptered it, you know, all kinds of crazy stuff. And those are just definitely not things that I would say that the regular public is looking at going, you know, you see the zoo and you take it for granted. You're like, oh, there's polar bears. But what did it really take to get the polar bears here? And how do you maintain their habitat? How do you feed them? You don't just, you know, pick up dog food at the local pet store. So all these things that you don't necessarily think of in the moment, but it all comes to fruition now that we heard about the procurement side, the purchasing side of it, to actually what you see when you walk into the zoo or the gardens or aquarium or what have you. So again, wow, this is such a dynamic group today. So I'm gonna, Josh, I'm gonna come back to you a little bit. Now, it sounds like you guys have a lot of overlap, which is really interesting how everybody overlaps with each other, with the departments. So I think that's awesome because collaboration is always key, no matter where you work, what organization you're with, that's huge. But you guys have a whole lot that you take care of. But there's a couple of things that kind of stood out to me that I don't think are, I guess you would say, your everyday thought when you think of parks and recreation. So you mentioned forestry. So people think of the forest as, you know, 100 miles out of the city, you're in the forest, you're in northern New Mexico, southern New Mexico, you're in these forest areas. So let's talk a little bit about what that means to the city of Albuquerque Parks and Rec.
Yeah, definitely. So with our forestry division, that's you know, we're working on trying to expand that a lot more, but we have, throughout all of our 300 parks, we have thousands and thousands of trees throughout Albuquerque, and those trees need attention. You know, some, you know, they need protection from the local environment, whether it's pests or they need to be cultivated, where, you know, there's seasonal pruning that needs to happen throughout all of our parks. So those beautiful trees that give us the amazing oxygen that we need to live and breathe, it's maintained by that division. So they have a lot of work to do on an annual basis, and they're constantly busy. And you think that maybe you know, the division might just be a seasonal thing where, you know, you do pre-summer where you trim all the trees and then you're done. But there's a lot of stuff that has to happen during the winter time, in those summer months, especially when we get those really windy spring days. We will respond to emergencies at the zoo, at our parks, at even you know, private properties and trees throughout all of Albuquerque. So we respond to those, like where trees have fallen onto the roads. You know, they are our emergency response team when something like that happens. So I don't think those guys get enough credit. So I really appreciate you kind of asking me to expand and elaborate on that, because it's very important part of the city that not a lot of people might realize, that we have to cultivate that. And just having the amount of green space in Albuquerque, you know, Albuquerque is so unique because you can be on one side of the town or the other. If you're on the west side, you look across the landscape and you see trees. You don't see tons of buildings everywhere. You see a massive amount of trees. And I don't know if a lot of people know this, but the bosque is the largest concentration of cottonwoods in the world. So that is something kind of really cool, really unique about Albuquerque to know and understand, how cottonwoods aren't everywhere. They're not all over the United States. They are centralized and concentrated in the Albuquerque area, which is pretty cool.
That is a very cool fact. I have to say, I had no clue. I live to learn something new every day. So that's my new one. I'm going to be spreading the word on that because I love it. It's like when I found out that you don't tie your garbage bags for when you're recycling with solid waste. That was my thing. So now I've moved on to the bosque because that is so cool. Unique and interesting facts about what makes our city and our community so special and so unique. So I love that. Of course, we don't necessarily love the allergies, but we do love the beautiful cottonwoods that line that. Makes it beautiful to walk it or run it or whatever you're doing on the bosque. It's an amazing part of our community. I also wanted to chat with you about a couple of other things that I think are really interesting. I know we think of, swimming pools and even Balloon Fiesta Park. I think that some people think or maybe don't understand that the park itself belongs to the city, and the Balloon Fiesta group, they rent it or they lease it, whatever they do, to put on the Balloon Fiesta, but you can actually do private events there. The city holds public events there because it belongs to the city of Albuquerque. So I think that's an interesting, unique fact about the balloon park. And then I think something else that's kind of cool is you mentioned horseshoe pits, shooting range, and pickleball. Now, I'm not sure that the public knows that because I did not. And so let's just briefly just talk about those three things.
Yeah, we do have a couple horseshoe pits, and the limited horseshoe pits that we have, the most popular one is Los Altos in that park. We have a very large gathering, a large group that do bring their horseshoes and they compete. It was actually, we recently kind of renovated that area with the senior national games that came by a couple years ago in 2019. I learned a lot about the substrate, the material that goes in there. It's not just, regular backyard sand. It's actually a clay that they put in there that helps absorb the landing there, so that it does take
bouncing.
Right. Yeah. It's unique. I have a horseshoe pit in my backyard, just, surrounded by a bunch of dirt, and I thought that was acceptable. But then learning about going and visiting all the competitors with horseshoes was very interesting. And it definitely is an obscure sport, but there is a large following. The other thing that is huge, it's like one of the fastest growing sports in the nation right now, is pickleball. So we are expanding our pickleball. We have the Manzano Mesa Park, the multi-generational center there, has a bunch of pickleball courts there. There's 24 dedicated pickleball courts throughout the city, but then we're also working on utilizing some of our tennis courts to be striped for pickleball, so they can be used for multiple purposes. So pickleball is you have a paddle, and the court is about half the size of a tennis court. So you can have 2 pickleball courts on 1 tennis court. So we're able to provide some of those modifications. We bought this portable net system that can be put in place and taken out depending on what program that we're doing over at the Sierra Vista Tennis Complex. So pickleball is growing very fast, very quickly, and I'm surprised how much attention we get. But pickleball lessons are growing, especially for kids. It was notoriously just an older generation sport, but we have pickleball lessons for youth, and we partnered last year with community centers to do a pickleball program where we taught them all about pickleball. So it's a very fun little sport, and it's good for seniors too, because you don't have to run around as much. So you have this big tennis court that you have to run around, try to get that ball. With pickleball, it's a little bit different because the courts are a lot smaller, so you don't have to run around as much. So if your knees are bad, pickleball is kind of the sport to go to if you don't want to do tennis. And you had said there was one other thing that you wanted me to elaborate on.
The shooting range. I guess I was unaware that. I think of the shooting range for APD, but I didn't know that there was like a public shooting range.
The shooting range, I've spent a lot of time up there with, in aquatics, being the division manager of aquatics. I've actually really learned a lot about all of our different departments. Kristen and I launched back in 2017 a new point of sale software. So we had to go to all of our different departments and help deploy the launch of that. So I got to know a lot about the shooting range, and I built their software program, but I spent a lot of time out there, and it's kind of a drive. It's really far on the west side. If you go up the top of the hill, 9 Mile Hill at I-40, that road that goes off to the Petroglyph National Monument, that's where the shooting range is. And they don't just offer, so when you think about shooting range, you think about guns. and you think about it's only for adults. But at the shooting range, we have a lot of other programming. So we have archery and we also have paintball. So we have different courses over there. So we have a paintball course and archery, and we do partner with a couple of nonprofit organizations and small businesses that provide the paintball clubs and paintball programs, and then also there's an archery club out there too. So we do have junior program for activities out at the shooting range. So if you've never gotten a chance to go out there, it's actually a really nice facility. Not just APD uses it. It's open to the public.
Wow. Again, just so much that I had no idea about, but I'm excited about the horseshoe pit. For some reason, I didn't know that was there. And many years ago, I put on horseshoe tournaments, and I know what it takes to build the actual spaces with the right clay and all of that. So I think that's something that's really great. We're going to bring back horseshoe everywhere now that we're reopening, because you can still be outside and have a blast. And pickleball, I learned so much about pickleball today. Thank you so much for that, Josh. And I definitely would love to check out the shooting range, because archery, paintball, what a great way for kids to get involved and also understand the importance of safety, how to use the equipment correctly, and all of that. So again, great things for the kids to do during the summer. And speaking of great things to do, you always have to have a great way to get around to those places in the summer. So bringing Stephanie back into the conversation, I was not thinking about the vans, and I was thinking buses. You think buses. But let's talk about the different diversity that we have in transportation, and where, are they specific to, seniors or children, or like, how do the vans work? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So Sunvan is our paratransit service. Those are for, there's an actual application process that you do have to go through. It's typically if you have some type of limitation or maybe some type of disability, it provides, it's a point A to point B transportation service. And so, and like you mentioned, transit is here to get people and the youth to all of the services that the city provides, all my colleagues are providing and discussing today. And I did want to mention briefly, one of those ways that we're hoping to increase that and to help youth get to the places that they want to be is that in March of this year, free fares were implemented for students aged 25 and under. So to ride for free, a student just needs to show their ID, a school schedule. As we're coming into summer, it's okay if it's from the past year to show that schedule, but we want to make sure that we get the message out there that fares are free for students 25 and under. And we also implemented free fares for age 60 and over. So you can also ride buses and Sunvans for free as well.
Wow. Okay. Again, so here we are. We're moving into the summer. Last summer was a little different because of COVID, but here we now are going to be open to some capacity, hopefully fully, but at least at some capacity. And a great way for students to get around and seniors to get around is through ABQ Ride, if you will. It's through all the different transportations that they have through the bus system, and you can do so, and you can learn more about it. We'll get you the information at the end, how you can ride for free based on either a senior or a student. There's some information in there, and let's face it, it's not expensive to ride the bus anyway, and so, but it is a great way to get people out and about, and we really, you don't have to drive your vehicles, you don't have to worry about parking, you can walk a little, so it's great for exercise. And so we definitely recommend that you do that as part of your summer outings this year. Here at the Hispano Chamber, we do a great little initiative called Daycations, and it's all about discovering Albuquerque. What is right in your own backyard? Last year, when we couldn't travel and we couldn't promote convention and tourism through our C&T department here at the Chamber, we had to kind of guess, what do we do? And one of those ways was to look at all the great things that we do within the city, for the city, inside of our city boundaries. And one of that is, are you using public transportation? Are you visiting our beautiful golf courses? Are you, all of that kind of great stuff. And so we are really appreciative of this department and everything that they do. We hope that you guys take advantage. Now, Kristen, we're going to get back to your crazy large department. I can't believe how big it is. And there's a couple of things that you said, and being that we're talking about summer and things to do about summer, you're talking about the APS programs that you have for interns. And the other thing I'd like to just maybe expand on a little bit is the meal sites. And I thought that was really interesting because I don't know that the public knows about all of those sites and what it takes to make that happen and how we can find out more information about how they qualify and where the sites are.
Sure, yeah. So our meal program actually goes year round. Our most popular meal program is in the summer, our summer lunch program. So we partner with all sorts of departments and organizations to have these meal sites go all across the city. So we have them at community centers, we have them at lots of different parks, libraries. We even partner with like some large apartment complexes to host sites, and it's a federally funded program. So basically, anyone 18 and under can get a free lunch Monday through Friday in the summer. The usual time that we serve lunches at these sites is 11 to 1. So there's nothing else that you need to do other than show up to the site and get your free lunch. We were really lucky last year that the state and the federal government relaxed some of the restrictions around the grant, so we could do grab and go because we didn't want people congregating, and usually we would make families stay there and eat their lunches at the site, but we did grab and go, and I think we're going to be able to do that again this summer. So people who want to grab their lunch and head home, they can do that, but they can also stay and enjoy their lunch outside. We also, during the school year, we also have our federally funded hot meal program. It's a supper meal program. So all of our community centers provide hot meals after school to any of the participants as well as the community. It's been a little funky during COVID, so we haven't been doing community meals quite as much, but we're excited to start offering that again. And then we even extend those sites into the county. So a lot of the county meal sites are actually funded and operated through the city of Albuquerque, which is kind of a cool thing. So lots of fun, nutritious stuff going on. So we'll actually start our summer lunch program on June 1st. So right after Memorial Day, we'll be out there. You can find out more information on our website, cabq.gov/family. I also want to plug, so obviously you can tell that we work really close together. Josh, Diana, and I, and we still, of course, have been working for the past few years together to really leverage our resources and serve kids, families, youth, like to the best of our capabilities. And we do that under something called this umbrella program called Youth Connect. So it's basically just a collective of all of the departments in the city of Albuquerque that serve youth and families. We meet every other Friday and have met every other Friday for 4 years to make sure that we're helping each other out, to support each other in programs, and to create new exciting programs so that we're successful. So like perfect example, meal program last summer, I got a call from Hakeem, who's one of the deputy directors in arts and culture, saying, hey, like we have these cool art kits and kids aren't getting to do as much art during COVID, like how can we distribute? So we actually packed those up and sent them out at meal sites with kids with their grab and go meals. So that's like, it was just like a really cool thing. Josh and I have worked together for years. We both started off as part-time employees in the city of Albuquerque too. So lifeguard and rec leader right here. Yep. But we do a lot of amazing work together, and I'm super proud to be their colleague.
Wow, it's incredible. And I love that, there's an opportunity for students that maybe in the summer or in school don't get those, maybe worried about where their meal is going to come from. So I think that's incredible work in general, but I think it's great that you guys do that. And don't forget, you can always lean on the Hispano Chamber. We have a huge 22,000 square foot campus in the heart of Barelas and a beautiful patio where we can feed. So you can always call us and rely on us if you ever have a need in the Barelas community. That is incredible. And again, I did have no idea about that. I know there's lunch programs for school and stuff, but to know that you're out into the community to help the students during the summer months with lunch and possibly dinner, depending on, you know, the way we open up is huge. So thank you for all that you do inside of the community. Now, speaking of all you do inside the community, I also have a list this long that I did when we were talking about arts and the Department of Arts and Culture. that way we can start branding it correctly. But and I can see there's a lot of overlap. But there's a few things that you also talked about that I think is really great. And one of them is, first and foremost, because it's summertime, love to just touch base on the sights, if you will, and sounds of Albuquerque, and how we're going to get the public to the Botanic Gardens or the zoo or Tingley or whatever. Tingley is just beautiful. I drive it for absolutely no reason other than it is peaceful. When I come out of the chamber, I take it to Central and I come back down Rio Grande to head home, but just because it's absolutely beautiful. So let's talk about that. And I also want to talk about a little bit, you mentioned about your art collections and your murals, because I don't think that people know that this is literally housed inside of the the Arts and Culture Department, but there are some beautiful Albuquerque murals out there. So let's talk about those.
Yeah, I also just want to lift up, so we had a teen lifeguard, a teen rec leader, and I was a teen nature guide, and they're all working in our departments that those teen opportunities start with and originate from. And I'm going to allow Wheat Seal to actually elaborate a little bit more on some of our awesome teen and youth summer programs.
Great.
But yeah, just before I pass it over to Wheat Seal, you brought up murals and our public art, and yeah, if you just go to cabq.gov/arts-culture, there's our whole department there. And if you go to the public art tab, there's these self-guided tours that I can just see it being really awesome, like ride the bus to a neighborhood you haven't gone, and then just go and explore the public art that exists there, right? That's just a beautiful, fun, socially distanced thing you can do in this beautiful weather that we're having. And I don't want to steal Wheat Seal's thunder. Also, teaser, you're going to get our wonderful director to participate in this conversation on Monday. So I'm going to turn it over to Wheat Seal, who's going to talk to you a little bit more about the sites and some opportunities.
Wonderful.
Thanks, Diana. Yeah, we have lots of different youth opportunities, the different camps going on around all of our different sites, to keep, young youths engaged throughout the summer. So we have a Camp Biopark, which is broken up into 4 different sections of different grade levels. So all the way from kindergarten, all the way through 9th grade. And so these are really great experiences, throughout all of, the aquarium, the biopark, and then also the zoo. So if you want to learn about like sharks, or if you want to learn about bugs, and it's all, split up into different, like what you're interested in. So like, that's a really cool, opportunity. Registration's open right now. So that's an awesome opportunity. Starts on June 6th and they run weekly through July 29th. And so information on that can be at the at the Youth Connect website. And that is yc.cabq.gov. And you can find information on all of our awesome youth programming. Like Kristen was saying, like Youth Connect is amazing. It's one of my favorite parts of my job is getting to work with these people, but just all of the opportunities across the city that are there to help engage young people and families, everything from information on bus passes to signing up for different courses and classes and swim lessons, or finding out when the pool's open. It's a great one-stop shop for kind of all things youth and families. Yeah.
Wow.
I love the website. I always go on it and I'm like, ooh, like what's going on that I can do? But we also have the library reading program, which will be open at all of the different libraries. It's called Tales and Tales. So like, little word thing going on there. It's an 8-week celebration of reading, learning, and fun special events. So registration opens on May 14th. And so that's a great opportunity to keep reading throughout the summer. It's definitely something I need to do more.
And earn prizes. So It's really cool. The more you read, you get to earn prizes. And again, another socially distanced, safe thing to do. Or you could go ahead and check out your library book and head over to a public park and sit underneath one of the beautifully shaded trees.
You can take the bus to get there.
There we go. No, I love that. Yeah. There's also, we have the Albuquerque Museum with the museum school offering a bunch of different courses for ages 4 all the way up to 14. And so those are, different classes all about like, you can build a little fairy garden or learn how to do Adobe. There's also, you can make a movie, which is really cool. And then there's both in-person and virtual options available there. So that's another great way to, stay engaged during the summer and also just, make some art, which is awesome.
Here's kind of not that you guys can answer this anyway, but here's kind of a unique question. How do you get the word out? And this is for anybody on the panel. How do you get the word out about all these amazing opportunities, not just for youth, but for seniors, for citizens of our city? Because there is so much. And I know that not everybody, first of all, they should be going to cabq.gov, but they're not always that they do. So what is your social media? What do you guys do? Like, how do you get the word out?
I can take this one. So honestly, it's been quite a challenge. The City of Albuquerque is a huge organization. As you can see, we serve youth in a variety of capacities through several departments. And so it has been really challenging, but that's one of the reasons that Youth Connect was created, specific to youth programs under Mayor Keller's administration, so that we could work better about getting the word out. There's still a lot of work to be done, but all of our departments have social media pages. So we have a presence on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. So you can follow all of our departments and see what's going on there. We also, for youth programs specifically, one of the initiatives that came from Youth Connect was that we created a quarterly newsletter. It's a digital newsletter where we come together, we bring all of these different pieces together, anything that's coming up, and we send that out to a mailing list quarterly-ish is what I say. So it's basically before big things happen. So our last newsletter just went out because we're in full summer mode now. We're getting ready for registrations. So that's another way we get the word out. And for the first time ever this year, we also created a catalog, a summer catalog. So Senior Affairs has been doing this for years, where they put all of their activities twice a year into this like paper catalog that they send out with the journal, and it has all the upcoming activities for seniors in the city. Well, we decided to do that for summer for kids this year.
Oh, wow.
And so it was just published, I think 2 Sundays ago in the journal, but you can find it on our city website. Our departments are featuring it, and then it's on the Youth Connect page too. So that's just a few ways that we're trying to get the word out.
Wow. Well, and again, anything that we can do here at the Hispano, we have a youth entrepreneurship program, ways that we can let the youth know what's happening. We're more than willing to. We have a community calendar. I'll reach out to you guys separately to make sure that we help to get those out there, because there's just some amazing things. And my thought is, does everybody know about this? And if not, what are the masses that know about it? How do we get it out to the masses so that they can know about it? It's a great way to continue fun ways of learning and education in the summer, because who doesn't want to learn about penguin habitat and forestry, parks and rec stuff? And there's just so much to do, and I love all of this. So we want to be helpful in any way that we can to get the word out to the community about all of this. So, something that Josh said in the beginning, I was bummed that we only had an hour because we know that after getting talking with the departments, that most of these could have gone on for several hours, because it's just an incredible amount of information, and we're just doing that 50,000 high level view, 50,000 feet up in the air view of these departments. We're going to have to do this more than once a year to really get to the masses what is happening. So we're going to start to wind down our hour a little bit here, and I kind of just want to take it back, go back around another time. And Josh, I'll start with you. COVID definitely presented its challenges this year, but I'd love to hear, what was something that you're proud of the department did to overcome whatever that may be. I heard from, I can't remember who it was, we were on the other day, that the city didn't furlough during that time, and that's just an incredible accomplishment. So, what is something that your department adjusted to? What do you think you'll use moving forward? And most importantly, how can we get a hold of you if people want to connect to what Parks and Rec is doing.
Sure. Yeah. So COVID was just a challenge for everybody. I think our biggest challenge was just, looking at our numbers and seeing, how many people, it's just a decrease, having to adjust to limited occupancy for all of our programs was really hard. And then also we had shortages of employees. So it was kind of, we had a lot of employees out. It was pretty hard, both full-time and temporary staff. We were definitely short due to the COVID pandemic. So, and so not only were we short, but our parks were heavily used, like 10 times as much traffic as we had before, especially open space. So our trails like Elena Gallegos and even Boca Negra on the other side of town, like those trails were just like, they were, 5 times to 10 times as heavily trafficked as before. So I'm really proud of the staff that we had this past summer and throughout the year, responding and trying to do our best to keep everybody socially distanced, and then also keep our facilities clean. Those open space trails and parks, that was a challenge. So we had to deal with, indoor spaces were a huge concern. So everybody went outdoors. So I was really proud of our response and how we were able to maintain a very healthy and safe environment outside. I think that we were kind of, we were a little safety net, I think. Not only so, Family Community Services was the safety net for families, being able to help with those parents that were working, help with those kids. But I think that we were also a safety net, giving everybody a safe space to experience the outdoors. So it kind of, I was really proud of Albuquerque by seeing how many people actually went outdoors and enjoyed it. And really, that's a silver lining of COVID, because it opened our eyes on the outdoors. So there's a lot of stuff that I could talk about, and there's a lot of things that our program offers. So all you need to go to is cabq.gov/parks, and you can find all of our different departments there.
Wonderful. And Josh, I just want to reiterate, when we talk about great things that your departments did, that the city did, and what to be most proud of is the fact that not only did Albuquerqueans get out and discover what is outside, outdoor, but they kept it clean to the best of their ability. And we have to do our part when we're out there, because limited staff, even though you're a big staff, you're still limited in the amount of work that needs to be done. So to everybody out there that's using the beautiful trails and open space this summer, do your part, pick up your trash, don't leave anything behind, because it makes it just a better, fun, safe environment for everybody else. So thank you so much for that, Josh. Same question, Stephanie. I know you guys have had a lot to overcome as well.
We did our department. I'm really proud of our department coming together. We still continue to provide transportation services throughout COVID. We implemented some practices, so increased cleaning. So grateful to the staff that really ramped up the cleaning, not just at our facilities, but also on our buses and sun vans. Very grateful to the drivers to keep everybody moving. That's a tough job, and it really shows their dedication to their profession. When you get on the bus, it does look a little different. We've limited the capacity. A mask is required. The department actually provides, if a passenger doesn't have a mask, we actually provide a mask for you. So I think we passed out at this point well over 30,000 masks to the public throughout the pandemic. So we're very proud of that. We do ask that people social distance on the bus, and like I said, just incredibly proud of our team. We've had to kind of change some of our, how we get our messages out there. You can find information about our department on our website, cabq.gov/transit, on any of our social media pages. You can contact our customer service at 243-7433. And if any, specifically, we have a program geared towards the youth. If you're interested in learning more about our services and about our department, our marketing team will actually go out and give a presentation, work with people to learn how to use our services. It's called Kids in Motion. So, that opportunity is also out for other community organizations that are interested in having us.
Wow. Again, every time you guys speak, we learn more and more about what you do. And it's really nice that parents and adults can feel at ease with programs like this Kids in Motion to be able to transport kids safely and give them opportunities to leave their house and get out into this beautiful weather, since that's what we've been learning to do over the past year for sure. Same question, Kristen. I know it's a loaded question, but let's try and tackle it.
Yeah, like Josh said, so, my division really stepped up to be a safety net for working families during the pandemic. So I like to tell the story of the night we found out APS was going virtual. So that was a Thursday night. We found out, okay, APS is going to go virtual. That Friday we came into work, we came up with a plan for what that meant for us. We registered for that program on Saturday and started it on Monday. And our programs haven't stopped since. I have a really young, motivated team that really stepped up to the plate to provide these services continuously since the beginning of the pandemic. I can't even express how proud I am of them. And in the middle of all of that, I had a baby. So I was like witnessing all of my team's work on social media and like checking in with them. And it was just crazy. And so I couldn't be more proud of the work that they've done over this past year. And we're so excited to be able to expand a little and loosen restrictions. Our social media pages have a lot of fun things on them too. Like if you go back to a year ago at the start of the pandemic and some of the videos that the different programs were making to encourage people to wash their hands and wear masks. I know it was stressful for schools to reopen and like, how are we going to get kids to wear their masks? And I'm like, we've been doing that for a year. So, we're just doing really great work. And so I couldn't be more proud of the team and the work we've done over the last year for sure.
Wow. And you're right. It was like a total adjustment. How do you, now the kids have to wear masks. They're constantly touching. How are they going to wear a mask or wash their hands? All these great things. But I think that those are some of the positives that came out of COVID, taking care of yourself and hygiene and then learning discipline. Wearing that mask is not easy for little ones. It's difficult. So congratulations on your new delivery, because that's a big deal to have that happen during COVID. That'll be a story for the rest of your life for sure. So I want to close up with the lovely ladies from the Department of Arts and Culture, as I have to say it over and over and over. What is it? 21 times becomes a habit. So I have to say it until I quit calling it cultural affairs. And so I just want to say, same thing to you guys. There's been adjustments. I know that you guys have had to make. Events is probably your biggest adjustment. I know, because we're in the event business and it is killer to not do events. But, what are some of the takeaways that you learned from COVID and, something that you are proud of you and your team? And I know I can tell, Diana, you're very proud of what everybody is accomplishing.
Yeah. So I think the biggest, the thing that made me the most proud about the overall Department of Arts and Culture is we're a very diverse department, right? Like the libraries have their own unique mission statement compared to community events, compared to our GovTV channel, compared to the Biopark, compared to the Albuquerque Museum of Art and History. So what was really inspiring for me is, where transit was stepping up, making sure people could get places safely, and parks was providing people with safe outdoor spaces, and family and community services were really providing like safe spaces for childcare and the types of services that families needed during the time. We were like, well, where does that put us? Like, we can't obviously have people walking into museums, but we were able to create different types of either take-home kits, as Kristen had mentioned earlier, with little art kits that people could pick up from the meal sites, along with different types of science kits that we worked with Explorer to help pass out, and a bunch of really awesome online content. One of my favorite ones was a virtual circus that all of these different circus artists that are based here in Albuquerque, Lucille and myself both do circus arts, but they filmed these little acts in their home, and then like with the help of GovTV, and it was a virtual circus you could watch on your screen. Another really fun one was a fun little memory was doing the New Year's Eve before dark virtually was really, really fun, because that's normally an event that gets to take place across multiple sites across this whole city. And it was really awesome to come all together and culminate it into like the most epic movie for 4-year-olds ever. But I really loved that. It was great. It was one of my favorite parts of really working together virtually.
Wow. Again, just mind blowing. This hour has been absolutely amazing. I'm gonna have to screenshot my notes and put them out to the world on social media because it's so much. And again, I bet you we didn't tackle half of what your departments actually really do on a day-to-day basis. And that is the beauty of learning and reading, going on to cabq.gov and the backslashes for each department and clicking on them and reading about the initiatives, the programs, the trainings, the workshops, the events, everything that they do, which really will help you as a parent, as a community member, engage more in the community, but also what are the great things that can happen for kids? And if you're taking care of elder parents, what's out there for seniors? So again, amazing stuff. I can't say thank you enough to this team. It has been amazing to have you on. I'm so sad that our hour has come to an end, but I am really excited that we got to spend this time together, and I hope that we get to do this again. We're gonna give Josh a full hour next time. Because we didn't get to learn about BMX tracks and tennis courts and oh my gosh, so much to do. So on behalf of the Hispano Chamber of Commerce, the city of Albuquerque, again, thank you for your support. We look forward to next week where we meet many more departments. We're really excited about that. But most important, if you guys remember, choose one. There is always something to do inside the Albuquerque, the city of Albuquerque. Choose to volunteer, choose to get out, choose to apply at the city, choose to do something as part of your community, and let's rebuild together as we begin to reopen. Let's rebuild together. We've had a great time today. We'll see you guys on Monday. Everybody have a beautiful, safe weekend. Goodbye, everybody.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.